Okay, please introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Shibaji Chatterjee. I have been part of Blue Yonder for last 6.5 years. Apart from that, I have around 16 years of experience in IT and now in AI/ML and generative AI and agentic AI. Right. So the journey started when we have been working with data at the beginning, because as you know earlier, data is the main thing. Like after that, we have received the notion about how to load the data, how to extract the data. So ETL concept, and after that we talk about how once we have stored the data, then we need cloud. And then once we have the cloud, now we know that we have plenty of data, so we need to apply AI/ML for the insights. And after the insights, you have to do the explainability. So that's how, if you see the journey from data to storage, to your ETL, to cloud, and then machine learning, and then generative AI. So this is how the journey of mine as well. So I did not start directly with the data scientist. I have started with the data, and now we are going towards the technology, how it is evolving. And currently I'm leading a team of AI and data scientist, which is part of building AI COE team for our organization.
Okay, perfect. When you started data science, right? So, like, what triggered you to come into this? Since you are a part of IT industry, so what triggered you to come into data science industry?
Yeah, so one thing I would like to tell you that around 2020, 19 or 2020, I am seeing a difference how we have been discussing in the decision making with our leaders, and also towards our teams. So previously we used to decide things based on our intuition, and suddenly we were actually changing the shift, not only in the industry but also in the company, that we have been suddenly transferring ourselves to the data centric approach, that we will take the decision, but we will always take the decision after checking the data insights. And that's how there are a lot of discussions happening about visibility of the data, even for the operation, team management, your productivity, your customer experience. So we started talking about the data, and then insights out of it. That time still it was not actionable insight. It is more of how we understand how we are performing and how we are doing better for the past data. So it is more of business analytics context. And that's how I got interest that, okay, suddenly why we are thinking about the data, because I have been part of the data journey for a long time. Suddenly I started understanding that, okay, maybe I have to look in a different way.
Okay. And so when you did the shift, right? So I know you had a vantage point that okay, you know how the industry works. But when you did the shift, did you start from basic? I mean, learning things. Of course, you need to unlearn few things to learn new things, right? So did you start from scratch, or did you just jump into it?
Yeah, so one way, the good part, who are changing from your, I would say that if you have a part of a data base experience or part of a cloud experience, then my suggestion would be that you are in a very good journey, because of the fact that data science without data is of no use, right? So the data science starts with the data. And if you are part of the journey of a data, and also the part of a journey of a cloud, that means you know the basic, because that's how the actual data, as is, they say that data is the gold. So
Hmm.
now you know how to extract the data, you know how to transform the data. And that's how my journey also begins. When I started looking at it in a different way, then I started looking at it data, and not only from the understanding the data is stored, but also getting basically a summary out of it at the beginning. So if you want to start, you can even start with an Excel and understanding that how pivots are working, and then understanding, okay, different mechanism of visualization. And then probably the start with analytics, because analytics will tell you in your historical data what is there, what is the trend. So I started with that okay, can I actually see my team performance for last 6 months and I can see a trend? Can I see my customer, for example, your customer data, where customer is giving a lot of feedback? Can I actually go back and see that if it is trending upwards and downwards? And then also seeing that, okay, where which customer is actually giving more input than others. So there are a lot of comparison factor. There is a lot of factors that you can say that how you can compare different data, trend of the data, monitor the data for some time as a trend, and see that okay, taking some small bit of action so that the KPIs are going upwards. I think that can be a good start. And for that, if you need to really learn about a little bit about data, different types of data, a little bit of analytics, and then how the data is stored, I think that would be good option. And if you are part of already a journey of, for example, big data, or you are actually a part of ETL journey, like where you transform the data, extract the data, transform the data, and load the data, that is also a good place where you know that in your scope a lot of data is passing through your journey, and why don't you actually check about what type of data you are actually dealing with, because we are talking about unstructured, structured data. We are talking about the volume of the data in the data science journey. We are also talking about different types of data, which is ethical data, non-ethical data, personal data. So you can always, first step would be to understand the data that you are dealing with, the scope of the project that have different types of data, and then try to understand the data better. That is a very basic for any data scientist in the future.
Correct. Perfect. So, you are a part of CAI Thought Leader Circle, right?
Yes.
So, you have a unique vantage point on the current AI landscape. So, with all the buzz around AI and Gen AI, do you view it as more of a hype, or it's a genuine tectonic shift?
No, I think the it is not an hype. It is not anything that is not real, because when AI was there, I think I would state from 5 years back, AI has been already part of the industry, and we were seeing that it is part of coming to our product, coming to our normal business life. But at the same time, after advent of generative AI in 2023, suddenly we are seeing that the power is with end user, right? So that's the total difference. Because earlier the AI ML team, most skill personnel used to control that knowledge, and they used to basically create that innovation through AI ML. Currently, what is happening, that innovation is happening at every place, every step, and even a simple user who is only having business knowledge, they can also write simple English and all that. So that's how the speed is coming. And another thing that I am also observing, that and when I'm talking to different other leaders through A3A and all that, all this collaboration channel, I'm seeing that the push is also coming from the leaders, the top leaders, even from the CEOs. And that's why it is not that friction is coming. It is not a bottom up approach. It is a top down approach, that okay, our top leaders are telling yes, you have to do, and our company has to progress. And there are a lot of companies have been already creating different types of innovations around the world. And because people can use it at their fingertips, and that's why this innovation marketing, you say, or you can say that adoption, everything is coming very, very fast.
Perfect. So now, since as you said that taking reference from what you said, that it's a top-down approach, right? Getting
Yes.
that genuine tectonic shift about it. So, from your experience, what's your assessment of organizational readiness in embracing Gen AI?
Yes, so the first thing I think very much necessary for the readiness part is how we will do the change management, how we will making sure that you are giving the knowledge and awareness, especially to the people who are the front runner, right? So many of the time, what happens that couple of people, 20% of the people will be very, very enthusiastic. They understand what is happening in the industry. They are even doing hands-on by themselves. But there are 80% out there, and especially people at the 30%, the last 30% who don't want to change, right? So how you actually start the initiative so that you are taking everybody along with you, because in after Gen AI, it is not that you will specialize any solution for a group of people. It is coming like a solution for everyone. So for everyone, if you have to adopt some solution very, very faster speed, awareness is very important so that you are frictionless. Nobody is giving any friction to you. And then you also create a wow factor, because as it's a new technology, as I said, the biggest part is any user can also apply. So whenever I'm doing a lot of sessions inside my organization or outside, the one thing I think people are very much looking at that, okay, what is there for me? Right? Okay, I understand generative AI has come, but what is there for me and for my business life? And when we do different types of sessions, we sometimes do a session for a team specific or a department specific. And then our intention is always that how I create a demo for that department, for that business function, so that they really understand that what is there for them. I think that is the first start, that enablement, awareness, and repetition, because it is not something that once you do training people will remember. People are forgetting very fast, and many new technologies are coming. So we have started a lot of training program, monthly wise, weekly training sessions, and a lot of hackathons have been done. So a lot of initiative have been done so that keep that momentum alive. And then the second part would be to understand about your platform, because many organization I talk about that they have started their GenAI journey, and they're telling their team that okay, you have to do something about it. But there is no strategy that there should be a centralized platform where people can start sharing, using it with the AI ethics in place. And then you basically create a kind of a I would say thought leadership group, that those people will help those individuals who are trying to do newly. Because many of the people will try newly, they will fail, and they will say okay, it's not working for me, I'm out, right? So some hand holding is definitely needed with the SMEs, or who are the front runner from the AI/ML standpoint. And then a lot of avenues, like we last year we started doing a lot of meetups, a lot of talks from the different other organization, as well as in industry forums, and as well as in the internally. Because if you see every organization, somebody is creating different innovations,
Right.
and if you are not opening up, then it's a problem. You have to have a forum that you will open up.
Correct. So as you said that before, when you said that now anyone, even a simple user with some data, can innovate anything, right? So we all know that 50, 20 years ago there was a digital literacy that was in place. Like everyone was learning how to email, how to even use a computer or a laptop, not even laptop, right? So do you think that AI has become the new generation literacy requirement?
One way I would say yes, or one way it is no, because of the fact that um, so sometimes what happened that you have to push the technology,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to change it, because people are not able to change, or people are not willing to change. So you are forcing somebody to change.
Right.
And then that's time we call it like, okay, I have to focus on literacy part. I have to basically make it mandatory to go through and all that.
Mm-hmm.
In GenAI, what is happening that the marketing is itself is happening around the world, right? So you need not to tell somebody that, okay, what is ChatGPT? I think everyone, even our parents, our kids are, my kid is also telling that, okay, did you actually say my story from ChatGPT, right? So I have to tell that yes or no, right? Because
Okay.
every day you cannot produce one story. So sometimes you have to create that story from your
Right.
Meta AI on WhatsApp,
Mm.
right? So I did that, and then she found it that okay, it cannot be so beautiful from you, so maybe it is something else. And then so it is not that you have to tell. Even for teachers, even for different doctors and all that, people are aware of it.
Mhm.
So it is not of a literacy. It is making sure that you are making that awareness,
Right.
that people are having they know already ABCD. Now you have to literate them or tell them that okay, how to form the words, and then you just how to do the communication. And because it is a natural language or English language, and sometimes other languages also, so it is not that they are taking time. They are also, once they are getting that wow factor, I think only the part that we have to create that wow factor. And for that particular person, once that wow factor is creating, people are trying it out. Believe it or not, I think everyone has ChatGPT account, everyone has something to do with GenAI.
Right.
Maybe they are not creating enterprise level solution, maybe they are not creating something very big that is known, but they are using it in day to day. Even I'm telling you, one of means when it started 2 years back, my some of the member who are joining newly, they are sending leave request from chat gpt or our internal tool, and we are suddenly seeing a difference between the language how
Mm-hmm.
they used to write and how we are
Correct.
writing. So it is predominantly, we can say that it is changing for everywhere. Yeah, some of the people may expect more, because they are, for example, some type of organizational employees are there who are basically looking for the perfect solution.
Right.
They generally sometimes get demotivated, saying that, okay, I wanted to have 100%, but it is still 50%, so I will take some time, and that is understood.
Okay. So now, uh, in that case, do you think that the stakeholders, I mean, the number of stakeholders which were previously there, like there were very dependency on few stakeholders, right? Like developers, coders, data scientists. Now, even the functional teams, even they can become a stakeholder, right? So, do you think that vibe coding, the latest trend of the market, that vibe coding. Do you think vibe coding can actually help this functional teams to come up and innovate or build their own thing and then pass it on to the developer team asking, see, this is what I have created. Can you please refine this for me? Do you think
Yeah,
that is
so
possible?
so one thing I would say that currently, earlier there is a boundary between the roles, and
Mm-hmm.
after GenAI has come, I think the boundary is becoming very light, or I would say gray, because now data scientists are thinking about UI development, UI developers are thinking about creation of explainability, and then whatnot. As you said, the ask is really same, and sometimes you are sometimes overlapping one other's role, and we have to be very mindful that in this area we have to be open in mind, right? Because if I say that, okay, I'm a technical manager and nobody knows better than me, that should be wrong, because somebody who used to be maybe not having so much technical jargon understanding and all of this, they can suddenly come with GenAI tool with their hand, and they will tell that, oh, I also understand what you do. Because now if I just write, okay, what is the way how somebody can develop AI solution, and
Right.
GenAI will give you the exact prescription, right? So my point is that yes, you can do augmentation of those roles,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 30-40%, maybe sometimes 50% through vibe coding, but at this moment I don't think so it will purely replace it. But it can, we can see that situation that some functional consultant understand the business understanding, and they can create some kind of a prototype, and they can say that, yeah, this is my in my mind, and let's discuss. So my suggestion would be that once you have that prototype, let's discuss and have a viewpoint and do a couple of round. It is not that what GenAI is giving, it is always that it is
Correct.
accepted in the industry, because of the fact that GenAI may not have the what is called the context how your developers are building, because there are a lot of tools. Once you integrate it like GitHub Copilot and all that, that's a different case.
So, do you think that now again, vibe coding? I understand that it's 50% augmentation is needed, right? Now, for do you think that if in case the functional people, especially those who actually are working in the business development section,
Mhm.
right? They are facing the clients, they need to go back and forth between teams, and then report back to clients that this is the status or something like that. So, do you think that if in case they are trained properly on vibe coding, this functional team,
Mhm.
do you think they can help in actually finding a business solution?
Yes, so I would go with that, right? So if you are a functional person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing any functional person is doing is they are collecting the business inside business requirement, and then they are kind of first next step would be, as per my understanding, next step will be designing that solution,
Right.
right? Or architecting that solution. There is a term, if you are in product based, we call it like product manager. If you are in a service based industry, probably solution manager or
Solution
something
manager.
like that.
Right.
So you should actually augment that role of a solution manager or an architect or functional architect. So functional
Mm-hmm.
SME to functional architect. And then after that, if you have to do small kind of vibe coding POC and all that, you should stop there. Why? Because there are a lot to do in the design phase and architecture phase. For example, even feasibility study, right? If it is really feasible or not, which technology to use or not. you can always go there and work with AI and understand what is possible and all that.
Mm-hmm.
The low level coding, for example, how to write in Python or how to write in C++, let it be from the development team, because there
Yes.
is no value add for you as per my understanding. If not, you are a startup and you have to do end to end
Mm-hmm.
everything from a single person, because functional person can also always go to that architect part, understanding the design, and then let it go to the developer part, and then the developer, you can say that the dev and ops can be same. Like for example, who
Yes.
is developing, that person can also do the maintenance. So these two people can do wonderful, saying that okay, I can do vibe coding, I can also support that code, I can also support the workflow. That's how you will have a good two pillars how you can support each other.
Correct. So now coming to the second thread, right? So apart from vibe coding, there is another thing that is happening with agentic AI, right?
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on agentic AI and how will it actually help? So let's take five personas of our entire industry, right? Let's say someone who's just started their career, someone who's in the middle management, or middle management is in just 3 to 4 years in their career, someone who's in the middle management, and then someone who's in the extreme level, like means the leadership. So, how do you think agentic AI, if all these four personas learn agentic AI, how do you think it will help them?
Yeah, so again, agentic AI is a very beautiful concept because it is joining generative AI with your API, means through API and tools to your real-time data sources, and also outside network, right? So if possible, so basically what it is giving a luxury to scale, and it is also giving a point that you can actually connect to your real data. So in enterprise solution or enterprise environment, your understanding of your organizational data and processes are very important, because even if you are mastered in chat gpt, but if you do not know that where my data is sitting in my own organization, then it is of no use. Maybe you will end up doing customer email writing and summarization of your one of the pdf, right? So if my suggestion would be that if you are starting at anywhere, right, you are starting at the like start phase, like you are joining this company, or you are at the mid stage or at the top stage, I think first advantage that you will get is to understand where the data is sitting. Wherever you find opportunity, there is some training program happening or some documentation, try to understand that okay, if I am working in a project, is my project data sitting in a jira? Okay, if it is a jira, then what is my project code? If it is in confluence, then what are the locations? If it is sharepoint, then what are the location? If it is somewhere else, so that is the first, because that's how you will start to exercise. Now the second part is agentic AI. Many organizations have started exposing their environment for the normal people, everybody. So at least in our organization, we have also started saying that okay, if you have access, definitely everybody will have access, and then you can come and build your own agent. Very simple method. So in that way, what is happening? People are augmenting their number of steps of the work in daily life through agents. They are creating a lot of agents, and they are saying, first of all, they are getting that wow factor. They can do their things faster. They can also connect to different types of data and creating their use cases. I think agentic AI is one of the place where, as you said, that functional people can also do some work.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do not need to do white coding, because it is purely on instruction, right? So
Hmm.
if you write English and then you connect to the data, and then you say that, okay, I want this kind of workflow, summarization, or some insights and all that, it will do some certain level of job. If it goes to complexity, definitely you get help from your IT team, or who is actually the GenAI support team, and then you build on top of that. So your knowledge from the functional aspect, you can always give the design aspect, and then make sure that your IT team or whoever is your GenAI team, that group of members will work with you to reach to that journey. So if you are a very renowned, I would say that, or experienced leader in the organization, that means you already know mostly that where the data is sitting, right? So
Hmm.
that part is already taken care. You also know business processes very well if you are part of the journey in 3 years or 5 years or more than that. So now it is your opportunity that how you can think about the transformation of those processes, because that is possible now. You have different decision map that you run through your team, that okay, this is how I take the decision, this is how I find the data, this is the people who actually approve and all that. So there is a workflow also in your mind, so you already know. So
Hmm.
you can literally contribute for the this process transformation there, and execute those process transformation for first of all your productivity gain for your team, as well as your process transformation for benefiting or innovation inside the team. And then use this agentic AI and work with the GenAI support team or the development team. You have a lot to contribute if you are an experienced leader. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So now many professionals are struggling with staying updated
Mhm.
because we all know that AI is accelerating, right? Like every week, correct? So, what will be your suggestion? How do you balance exploring uh, the cutting edge technology at the same time keeping yourself updated or keeping yourself sustainable? Because that is the biggest question that we get from our learner. That what will happen if I learn Gen AI today? Next week you will say that there's a Gen VI.
Mhm.
Then what? How do I stay updated?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, and that is, I think we are seeing. I think last many years, but after Gen A, it is very very fast. And one thing I generally do for myself is, for example, as I started this interview as well, that how you relate your work to the whole journey, right? So nothing is waste, right? So whatever you learned, you can actually place them and say that there is a path, right? So data science journey without data is of no use. So I said my experience in data is equally important. Cloud is very very useful, because if you are a data scientist but you cannot know how to deploy your machine and how to scale your machine, then it is of no use. That means you also have to know cloud. You may always say that okay, I want only single cloud, I learned only single cloud versus multi cloud and all these details, that's different. Then another thing is analytical skill. Analytical skill is always important, because you have to understand the data, you have to understand how to present the data, and then storytelling is very very important, because these are all transferable skill. And storytelling, like we are giving the interview now, we are basically doing a storytelling, right, at the end of the day.
Correct.
And what is the data? Data is the past history, what is my experiences. So at the end of the day, this transferable skill is very important. Problem solving skills. So even today you are solving something else. Tomorrow you are going to do data science solution. So you can always say my problems. I have a, for example, 10 to 15 years experience of problem solving. So that will be really helpful. So whenever a new technology is coming, so one way to look at is that okay, you learn it faster, and then you basically adopt it, and then you basically move on. So my rule, what I have used for my career is, first is that you start with the linear learning. Linear learning means, for example, if supercomputer is coming, you cannot learn it today, because first of all, innovations are happening, and then gradually whatever you are learning, probably it is getting changed, right? So open to learn, open to relearn, but do it linearly every day. Some amount of time, 15 minutes to 20 minutes, you read about that same technology again and again and again.
Right.
And then second is, you go after you know the basic, okay, I understand, I am getting the interest, because your interest should be there, otherwise it should be forced and you will not be successful. If you
Mhm.
are getting interest, then my next suggestion would be, okay, go for a certification course, because in the certification course, the benefit is all the like-minded people will join, and you will all talk about the same topics and same interests and all that, so you will get a boost up. Third is, try to find some projects, small projects, some helping hand, or whatever you want in your own organization. Try to volunteer that, okay, I want to do this work. Even if I don't know, I will at least do something else, but I will making sure that I will spend some time, because on-job learning is very important, and you will remember that much, much better than your education that you got. So hands-on is very important. So you do that. And next is you always find those opportunities where you will talk about this kind of topic. As I was telling that I was part of 3AI. So there we are all talking about GenAI, AI, and all of these aspects. So you will get to know a lot of good stuff what is happening in other companies, or at least the what is called the theory ways. And then you will get to know that the exposure is coming. And then the last part would be that, okay, you raise your hands to say that, okay, I want to go to a particular team who is actually working on that technology, right? So that could be your last move, and then you are settled there for some time, and then the cycle will go on.
Okay. So now, as you said that I mean, these are the sections, or these are the segments, how they can understand how they can remain sustainable, right? So now coming back to the certification part. So when you said that get few certifications first, certification, do the certification course or something like that. Do you think that once they have done any certification course, right? And nowadays, if I talk about the market research, even the certification courses, they don't use raw data. They also use causal data, right?
Mhm.
So, do you think that those people who are those ethics, but there are ethics who are actually giving them raw data. They are
Mhm.
giving them actual use cases. So, do you think which one would be helpful, like the use raw data or the no, genuine use cases or the Kaggle data, even if it's a certification?
No, I would go with both because
Mhm.
from my experience, the Kaggle is an explorer for having your viewpoint for different kinds of use cases, right? And which you can achieve during your certification journey, right? But when you are coming to enterprise, for example, if you're a part of a supply chain or banking, you will always get the real-time data, but you will always get a real-time data of that particular domain, right? So it has advantage, disadvantage as well. So two things are needed. Like when you are doing your education, definitely you go for a curated data because you are no, you are having a basic, and you went there to understand the data science more on the data part. Because if you spend, for example, in our organization, data understanding is 60-70%, right?
All right.
So, and you went for a certification which is data scientist. So my suggestion would be that there probably you focus more on the data science part because you are spending money, and curated data is enough to work on top of that. But when you are coming to your voluntary work in your organization or small part-time work in your organization or anything that you are doing for your team, definitely start with the raw data and start to understand the real game, because you will find a huge difference that what you learned and what you are actually doing is totally different. And that transition should happen on job, right? Because you will
Mhm.
struggle, you will fail, and then you will ask your colleagues that how they have done it, and probably you will meet some data engineers there, and you find it out that there is also a role called data engineer,
Data
and you
engineering.
never know that you get that interest on data engineering more than data scientist.